Hello YouTube, and I am Mobile Game Central, where I'll be giving you inside looks into mobile games and all they're about. So I know that some of you might be thinking that I'm giving you information on mobile games. Rather, I will be playing certain mobile games and giving you information on what to do in them, tips on how to play them, and what they're about. So I decided to start off my new channel, Mobile Game Central. I would play a game that is editor's choice and is loved by people around the world. That's right, Clash Royale. Clash Royale is basically a game where you can go head to head against players in real time with decks consisting of 8 cards against their 8 cards. Now you do need Wi-Fi to play this game and to download it also. But if you do have Wi-Fi or 4G data, as lucky as I am to have it, you can play it offline. Sadly though, when downloading or updating the app, you must have Wi-Fi so that it can get data. I still do not understand why it needs to do this, but I don't question it. So really, Clash Royale is a really fun game, and I really have no tips on how to play it because it is a strategy game, but there are certain ways to get better at it, and that is by unlocking certain cards of better rarities. So to be honest, it goes by common, then you move on to rares, then to epics, and then if you're lucky enough, legendaries. So basically a common will have a gray look right there, but if rares are the next on this list, and it'll have an orange kind of color there, while epics, which are harder to find, are purple, but legendaries, which are ultimately the best cards you can possibly unlock, is a cyan color. I'm not really sure what it is, but it does say legendary in rainbow colors. And so I was lucky enough to get the Sparky, and that's what revolves around this video, that the Sparky itself isn't a bad card, but it isn't a very good one. Now many people hate on it because supposedly it can easily be countered by cards simple as the skeletons, goblins, fire spirits, anything that can tank a shot, which is very unlikely. A knight can't tank a shot, but you know what can? A giant. A giant can take 2 shots from it, but really it won't matter. Basically, any card that has more than 1 unit can counter it by surrounding it. The surround technique is very simple. You just place a card on top of it, and the cards will separate to all 4 corners of it or to sides. And while the Sparky, which itself is has a charge up attack, will take forever to hit it. Now, I think it's about 3 to 5 seconds that it takes to charge up, and once it's charged up, it will release there are no words for it, a massive area damage blast that can take out most cards. Now the reason I said that it can easily be countered is also because not only can troops counter it, but a spell can. The zap has a stun duration that can reset its timer. So once you notice the Sparky starting to shake, the first sign it's shaking, you know it's about to hit something. So if you zap it right then and there, it'll have to reset and have to go for another 3 to 5 seconds, taking it out. But the lightning itself is one of the best counters to it because it can easily just reset its charge and deal lots of damage to it. The Sparky itself has 1,200 hit points, and this one deals 650, meaning it's dealing over half its health. And you can also do this when it's about to shoot, so it's stunned and it'll have half the health, meaning the tower can simply take it out. Now I will check how much damage the tower does, and at level 7, your arena tower, your king tower, or princess towers, based on which one, would deal 78 damage, meaning it will take quite a while to take it out, but with the assistance of other troops, it'll help. The lightning, though, I do not recommend using because the rocket itself does way more damage, but sadly it does not stun. Lightning should only be used if you can clip the arena tower or clip another troop. That way you can take him out. Now, to understand this, it can be like saying that the level 4 Hog Rider is paired up with the Sparky. If you use the lightning, it can get both of those targets making better use of its 3 strong attacks. But to be honest, you shouldn't let it get past your tower. So to stop it, they will try and plant it in the back, which is when you can use the lightning to clip their tower. That is a very efficient lightning there. And if you don't believe me, you can always watch a better Clash Royale YouTuber who does videos all about it and other Supercell games, while I focus on mostly mobile games. His name is Orange Juice, and he overall is one of the best Clash Royale gamers I've ever seen. I wish that I had his skills, but sadly I don't. But don't forget to go check him out. So off with that, let's talk about the deck I'm using. Basically, I understand that Skarmy surrounding it can be a problem, so I made a deck where I would set up the Sparky with the Witch. The Witch itself would tank. The Sparky would tank. Wow, that was terrible. But the Witch would deal with all the splash. And if it had air units, the poison would slowly damage it so that the Sparky itself would be able to land hits. If the Witch wasn't available and I knew that they were down on Elixir, I would use a Sparky with poison to get rid of all the swarm cards. And the Sparky is just amazing, and I'd like to show you a few replays with it. And as you can see, I've gotten 4 victories in a row with the Sparky, and so I had to actually change clans for this because my original clan, which I'm currently in, was inactive at the moment. So I decided to test it out with a certain clan that had 1 active member. This here is a replay. Now, as you can see, I've got the Sparky in rotation, but I don't want to use it yet, knowing that he could easily have arrows, a zap, or a fireball to get rid of the minion horde if I paired him up. And as you can see, he does have the zap and fireball. So what I decided to do was just send the Goblin Barrel in. He zaps him away, making it deal way less damage. And right there in the bottom corner, you can see the Witch that was my next card in rotation. So I decided to send it in right there. I wasn't sure if he was going to plant the card, so I decided to send the Witch in a bit late. And the Sparky, now right there you can see that it's just dealing, just half of the tower's gone already thanks to that Sparky. But he got me with a Goblin Gang and a Valkyrie, destroying it and killing my Valkyrie. I do use the minion horde, and though he could have zapped it, which he just did, it wouldn't deal much, seeing as though it was just 1 archer. And right here I am way ahead in Elixir, but I'm not sure what to do now. And I just want to mention, if you have 5 Elixir and you have a 5 Elixir card, never play it. He was smart and waited a bit so he could pair it up, because once you're out of Elixir, you can just send it in for an easy counter push, and you'll have barely any Elixir. I did use poison to get rid of the archers in the back, before using a bomber to just destroy both cards. With the Goblin Barrel there, it was a sad move there. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. Maybe he thought the bomber would walk into the bridge when he fired it, or the Sparky would be placed before the fireball would land. But now I see that I'm ready for the second push, so I'm ready. I start off with the Sparky, and in double Elixir time, that's when things are getting heated. I'm hovering with the arrows because I wasn't sure if he would do something. But the Sparky managing to still land a hit, even though the Valkyrie is constantly doing damage to it. And with the Ice Wizard targeting my tower, I send in the Minion Horde to deal with it. being smart, he fireballs it, but with only 30 seconds left, I'm not sure if he'll be able to create much of a push here. I do know that the Sparky can counter the boulder, but it would be a negative trade. So instead, I can use it, and for just 1+ elixir, I can create an entire counter push. Now the right side was just embarrassing, seeing as I was able to arrow it. And with the bomber, right there was also very sad, seeing as though my Sparky was able to take out both those troops while surviving with the sliver of health. But that wouldn't really matter, seeing as the match had just ended. And as you can see right there in the bottom left corner, my tower was at 120, and I wasn't focusing on it during that match, so I could have easily lost it. And so now we're just going to watch. Now this one, I was still in the same clan, but I was going against somebody else. And I noticed that they had the minions and the Skarmy to kind of surround it, but I also couldn't help but notice that the next match I did also had a mirror and Skarmy and minion horde. And the third match I did also had the Skarmy. So people were running around with the Skarmy, and I had the arrows to counter it. It would just seem that the arrows were becoming more and more useful now. So I decided that I would show you guys one more match to help you fully understand it. And I'm not sure, but I wasn't sure at first, but I decided not to do another match. But I might will. So let's watch the recent replay. My most recent one is where I got 2-0 with it. So he's got a giant there. Now, what I was thinking in this match is that if they ever start a push really big, I didn't want to exactly have to waste all my Sparky already. I wanted to kind of keep it a secret. So I just send in the poison and deal lots of damage to them. And clip that tower before sending in a goblin barrel. The musketeer in the back had a sliver of health, so I decided to do that. And the minion horde just annihilating it. But still getting a lot of damage in. And that was just really embarrassing right there. But luckily, he didn't take it. Now, as you can see, he had the baby dragon, but he was waiting for him to target. But sadly, some of them still targeted him, being damaged. Once the witch there, I was able to take down that baby dragon. And notice how his only counter to my Skarmy, that was cheap, is the Valkyrie, which he could have saved up elixir for. So with the witch and the bomber, they'll deal massive amounts of damage. And he decides to just keep that Valkyrie going instead of defending. Bomber goes down, but I'm just waiting for the perfect moment for my Sparky to make its first appearance. And luckily, they're all out before they can stab. So and as you can see, I actually have the Sparky and the witch again in rotation, which is amazing. And I'll be able to plant the Sparky, followed by the witch. Now, he does think that it might be a stupid idea, but the witch, after all, will take out Swarm. The Sparky, they're getting a landing a hit, actually. And the Sparky manages to land a hit right before dying. That was amazing. And like I said before, one tip you should always do is not immediately play a prince without having a splash card. Now the Valkyrie, of course, he sends it on the other side, but I obviously just it plants in your head that it was a stupid move by someone to just do that. So with the poison, my Sparky could have taken it out, but instead I decided to poison it for the silver risk. Right there, the Sparky was about to hit the prince, but it didn't. So placing the Skarmy there, it's able to survive. Well, most of them are able to survive anyways. So I can then plant the minion horde to take the baby dragon, so that the Skarmy can get rid of it. And so overall, this match was amazing, and if I did have the time, I would have taken that tower. So I've decided to go one more match before ending this video. But if you want to try this deck, you can try it. It's not really that hard to master. Seeing those 2 replays, you understand. And if you still don't, the Goblin Barrel's kind of like trying to absorb a zap or arrows. Basically, it's baiting them so that the Skarmy and the Minion Horde can go into play. So I decided to do one more battle, like I said. And I'm probably going to lose this one, so that might lessen the chances of you trying out my deck. But it's still an amazing deck, even if I lose one match. So I'll just wait. I don't want to reveal the Sparky yet, but he is going to have a pump, and I do want to use a poison on it. Because letting him get that pump down will be giving him an elixir lead, and I really don't want that in the midst of a battle. But it's still going to get some elixir off before its lifetime is completely out. And he's going to go with the P.E.K.K.A here. I'm not sure to go with the Sparky, but I have decided to. It's not really like I had a choice. With it on the tower, my Minion Horde will be able to get rid. But for the Sparky itself, and right before it lands a hit, but actually I'm watching it right now and it did land a hit on the tower. Man, that was sad. And that's one thing I hate, that some cards have shields that'll protect it for a while. And it is really useful when using a card like the Sparky, because obviously the Sparky will have to charge up a second time to get rid of that shield. So I actually have nothing to counter that baby dragon right now. So I don't want him to make a push out of it. So I'm sending in the Goblin Barrel to see if he has any arrows. And he does right there, so I can send in the Sparky in the back. And knowing that he just wasted his arrows, I can send in the Minion Horde. I'll poison that right there. And luckily, the Sparky manages to land a hit before I send in a Bomber, which allows the Sparky to get 1 hit off the tower. That is amazing right there. And I already have the Sparky back in rotation and another hit on the tower. This is madness right now. I'm not sure what's about to go down. I'm probably going to lose that tower. But I want the Sparky to survive so I can... And as we all just saw, that P.E.K.K.A right there might take my tower if I'm not careful. So I'll have to use a Bomber Witch. And I know that he might be thinking of going in with a push like this. So I've decided to send in the Minion Horde. And right there, the Sparky might land a hit. And the Sparky lands a hit, meaning if I can just send in those, meaning if the Sparky can land 1 more hit, that'll be GG right there. I'm not sure, but I hope it does manage to land a hit. He is smart. Oh my god, no, I might actually lose. This might be a sad, sad day. And I lost the tower when I could have arrowed because that Sparky was not covered. Now, the mistakes I made, obviously, I should have gone for that Princess Tower. But you saw there that that was one mistake I could have fixed. But overall, it was a good matchup. And please use this deck. I really want you guys to win. If you don't have the Sparky, you can try out this deck, which has 3 epics actually. But it's a really good deck where you can send in the Hog with arrows, pre-arrows actually. But I wait till 10 elixir, and if I have these 3 cards in my cycle, I'll send the Hog in to tank the Goblin Barrel while the arrows can get rid of any swarm cards. So thank you all so very much for watching Mobile Game Central, and I will see you in the next mobile game. Goodbye.